All right, Broncos country. I am Bronco Rob, and this is the Buck Your Feelings post-game podcast show. I apologize. I'm a little late today. I had some other things that I had to take care of, but unfortunately, the Broncos couldn't get the job done and fall to the New England Patriots of a simple score of 10-7. With that being said, we're going to buck some feelings. We're going to get into it. And once again, I want to, I appreciate and love everybody out there that rocks with us. And, you know, it was definitely a tough one for sure. But we'll get into it.
Every touchdown scored, our spirits ignite. Let's celebrate our boys into the night. When the whistle blows, it's all about the day. Through the highs and lows, we'll never feel shame. This is our house. Hear the fans scream, buck your feelings.
All right, Broncos country, orange and blue crew. Unfortunately, I have the dishonor of bringing you the Buck Your Feelings post-game podcast show after a very tough, disappointing loss to the evil empire known as the New England Patriots. We're going to get into it because there's still a lot of things there's a lot of positive things that can be taken from this season as a whole. There's also a lot of negative things. So we're going to kind of try to get into them both. I want to just kind of get some housekeeping out of the way. Once again, this is the Buck Your Feelings postgame podcast show. I am Bronco Rob. Please head on over to YouTube, X, Facebook. Give us a like, share, and subscribe. If you give us a subscribe on YouTube, this side, please make sure that your YouTube profile is set to public because when we do get to 750 subscribers, we will be doing another giveaway. We don't know what that giveaway is going to be yet, but we will have another giveaway. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Dubby. Dubby.gg. Dubby has no sugars, no calories, no maltodextrin, no fillers, no artificial colors. It's formulated with nothing but amino acids and B vitamins and nootropics, including the patented Neurofactor. Nootropics and the caffeine are derived directly from the coffee fruit. And for all of our viewers and subscribers, you can head on over to dubby.gg and use the code OBN10. That's OBN10 for 10% off your order at checkout. And once again, we're going to throw this up here. The Orange and Blue Network has shows almost every single day of the week. So I will leave that up there for a few seconds. And we will go ahead and get back into the unfortunate loss of the season. So let me give a shout out to Shy Vargas, our resident hype man, saying it hurts so bad. And he also says Sean Payton is on the hot seat. No, Shy, Sean Payton is not on the hot seat, but we'll get into it. I promise you. So, God, this is so hard to talk about when you lose. First quarter started out really good. I believe that Sean Payton had a game plan set up had the weather not turned ugly. I think Denver would have won that game by at least 6 points. We lost Bo Nix to a broken ankle. Had Bo Nix been in the game, would Denver have won? Probably. But Jarrett Stidham went out there and did the best that he could with what he had. Had the weather not turned ugly, I think Jarrett Stidham would have got the job done. Also looking at things, you had 2 missed field goals from Big Nuts Lutz, and I don't necessarily, I hang one of them on him for sure, because for whatever reason, he has a problem kicking from the right hash. But I'm actually being joined by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Jay Weaver. What's up, buddy?
What up, dude? I pulled a fast one, and I just I said I can't do hockey right now. I gotta be, I gotta be one mind strain here, and I'm super emotional and super disappointed in this game. So hockey's not on my agenda today. So here I am.
Well, I appreciate you backing me up today. As I am dubbed the marathon man, holding down the fort.
You absolutely are. You get the button for the day for sure.
But I was just kind of getting into the first quarter. Things were looking good. Stiddy was out there doing his thing. I think Sean Payton's game plan, I think, would have worked had the weather not turned so terrible. I don't think Sean Payton has much experience with snow games like that.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple things, at least to me. You hit the nail on the head, though, Rob. The nail on the head. The weather. The point in which this game turned was the weather. And it is interesting to note that as soon as the weather happened, our rushing game just went kaput. We had no push on the line of scrimmage whatsoever. That was the most disappointing factor to me, at least, is that when the weather hit, we went into a shell. And Sean Payton, I expected more of. I thought that when the going gets tough, we would get more creative, and we would zig when we were expected to zag. And that just was not the case when the weather hit. I just, this is a Sean Payton thing to me, as far as second half fallacies to what we expected out of this team compared to what we got. I just was very disappointed in how conservative we got when the weather turned to the point it did. What was your perspective of weather shift? Were you happy pre-weather compared to post-weather? Or what was your pre-post feelings, I guess, to the game?
So I agree with you that the weather definitely made a difference. However, I don't want to sit here and hang the excuse of, oh, it was the weather. I don't want to do that. I have a little bit of a different perspective. I think a fatal flaw in our game plan, and this is definitely on Sean Payton, it was in the second quarter. It was 4th and 1. We were on the 8-yard line or somewhere. We were in the 10-yard. We were within the 10-yard line. And it was 4th and 1. And instead of putting Big Nuts Lutz out there, and mind you, this is before the snow started. Instead of putting Big Nuts Lutz out there, to get the 3 points. Sean Payton decided to go for it, and he didn't even go for it on a play that you would think they would use, meaning a QB sneak, a fullback run, even a halfback run right up the middle to get the first down, just to give us another set of downs, or even get the touchdown. He decided to go play action and try to be cute and get a touchdown.
Dumb.
Do I like the aggressiveness of going for the touchdown? Yes, I do.
Yes.
But you could have just put Will Lutz out there and kicked the field goal and got the 3 points and been up 10-7 on the Patriots, because they hadn't even scored the field goal by then. Then you're looking at a 10-10 game, for who knows how long. The Patriots missed 2 field goals. Denver missed 2 field goals, and had the one not got tipped, we would have won the game by 3 points.
Dude, I think that is a perfect example or perfect platform to showcase how different Sean Payton views Jarrett Stidham and Bo Nix. Because if Bo Nix was still out there, we would have run the tush push. We would have run some sort of a quarterback sneak that we have seen time and time again throughout this entire season. That has been super successful, mind you. We've been very successful at that look. But for him to pull it back and do some, play action trickery was just some bull crap. Jarrett Stidham is tall, he's a big guy. There's no reason we couldn't have done a little tush push, get ourselves a couple yards, and just, march on.
Well, we didn't even need a couple yards. We needed 1 yard for a first down.
Yeah.
1 yard for a first down, and then you want to do play action, you want to try to be cute, fine. Try play action, try to be cute. I'm only pulling up this comment just to get it out of the way. Daniel Miller's sitting here saying breaking, I think he meant news. ESPN is reporting Sean Payton and Greg Penner are meeting right now to determine Sean Payton's future. That is absolutely a falsity, and it's a bunch of crap. Sean Payton is not going anywhere. Sean Payton has turned this team around in the 3 years that he has been here. The first 2 years, he had Russell Wilson, who was a shell of himself, to deal with. And, Russell Wilson couldn't handle Sean Payton and shut down every time Sean Payton got on his ass. Sean Payton got on Bo Nix's ass. Bo Nix barked back. Sean Payton's not going anywhere. So this is just a bunch of crap. I don't believe it. And even if they are meeting, it would not surprise me if Greg Penner and the group give Sean Payton an extension right now. I would keep Sean Payton for as long as possible. Now, when it comes to Sean Payton, the one thing I think Denver does absolutely need is we need a competent offensive coordinator that calls the plays. Sean Payton does not need to be calling plays. He does not. Bro, he calls screen passes all the damn time.
Yeah, but dude, see, this is the crux here. This is what you live and die by. This is, if you're going to hire Sean Payton, you're going to go through the trials and tribulations of Sean Payton play calling. And Joe Lombardi or whomever the OC is, enter comma space. Who gives a crap? It's going to be the same old. Davis Webb leaving, I'm sorry, Broncos country, ain't going to make a damn difference other than the coordination of a relationship that it is to Bo Nix, Jarrett Stidham, and the OC, like that 3-prong. That has nothing to do with play calling, and it has nothing to do with Sean Payton. Completely separate entities. So I feel you, but it's a Sean Payton problem, man. We've talked about this in other instances, specifically the Russell Wilson year, where Sean wanted to do certain things that just didn't vibe with what he had cooking personnel-wise. And I've been such a Sean Payton believer in that he can customize his approach to his personnel and to his skill set that he has available to him. And today, second half specifically, was such a disappointment to that notion because he folded and he went ultra conservative when he didn't need to. Jared Stidham had a lot more under the hood than what was given today. Jared Stidham didn't get a chance to showcase his full skill set. And I would make the argument it's because of the weather. It's a convenient factor, timeliness-wise, as to when our offense went into a shell as to when the weather hit. But, like, I don't care about the convenient circumstances, Bronco Rob. Sean Payton didn't let Jared Stidham cook the way he could in the second half. And that's the disappointing factor to me in this game.
Well, and I think another thing you have to look at too is, and I noticed it first half to second half, the Patriots were bringing the house. Like they were zero blitzing. I mean, they were bringing everybody.
They were.
And so,
makes sense.
And so instead of checking to like a slant where they're bringing everybody and you know getting a play, like Sean Payton just stuck with you know the run, or he stuck with the
conservative,
the conservative side. But you know the other thing you have to look at how many drops Denver had today. Cortland Sutton had 2.
Dude, yeah, Cortland Sutton with a big 2. It's not just a 2; it's a big 2.
You know, Lil Hump had one that should have been a first down. Like,
Lil Hump.
Man, it was. And then you know, Pat Bryant wearing the Guardian cap, he goes down with a hamstring. Like,
yeah, dude, that's a massive loss. Dude, Troy Franklin not being involved in this game and not having the threat of taking the top off of this defense at any point in time is a massive factor. But again, I revert back to, you know, even if Troy Franklin was active, even if Pat Bryant wasn't hurt, with the weather that was in the second half, was Sean Payton confident enough to be able to throw aggressive play calling out there to show that we even had it in us to do that as an offense? And I mean, it's hard to tell, you know, what came first, chicken or the egg, as far as weather or injuries. But the second half, we just looked depleted and we looked incomplete as an offense. Yeah. Terrible timing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you know, Sean Payton knew the weather was going to turn. Like, they had to have been watching it every damn second.
Yeah. Not to this extent, though, I don't believe. Like, I don't know if anyone knew that it would be as hot and heavy as it was, because even when it was snowing at its hardest, I saw Twitter users that were at the game taking selfies saying, this is crazy because it's like not that cold. It's like not unbearable. Like, as far as environment of game, like totally playable, not that big a deal. It's literally, you just need to combat the, you know, the wind and the, you know, snow itself. Like, it wasn't a temperature thing. It wasn't like frigidly cold. So man, it's beyond disappointing the way this came out. Beyond disappointing, man.
It is disappointing, and it's going to hurt all off season. However, I am hopeful, and I believe that Denver's future is bright moving forward. You know, Bo Nix is going to come back from this ankle injury, and you know this is going to light a fire under his ass.
I would hope.
Like 100%. Now, you know, Shy coming in here asking what should the Broncos do in the offseason. Well, we're going to have 30 million in cap space that we're going to be able to get somebody, maybe one or two people in here to shore things up. We have the draft. There's a lot of positive to look at when it comes to the offseason. I think Denver needs to go out and absolutely draft an offensive lineman, whether it's a tackle, a guard,
Boy,
a center,
see,
absolutely.
I'm indifferent on that point. I thought our offensive line, we're healthy. We have full starters ready to go in this game. To your point in pregame, you made that point.
And I don't mean for one to start, but at least get some depth because look what happened. Our starting center went down. Our backup center went down. We need to have, even if we want to bring in a veteran, lineman just for depth, somebody that is proven, somebody that's that just goes out there and is a dog. That's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Whether it's in free agency or the draft, we need to get some help.
I will say this. This is our very first year of the outside zone concept. So we made a monumental schematic change when it comes to that aspect of our offense year over year. So this is our very first year playing zone type. And we don't have a running back that necessarily supports that quite yet. Big E throwing it out there. Saying exactly my thoughts. What the Broncos need to do in the offseason is get a running back that can run the ball, and that's not one that is injury prone. We need him to be around. The best ability is availability, the great Brock Osweiler said back in the day. And that's not a knock on J.K. Dobbins. That is just a knock on the overall perspective of that running back room. I've held the opinion for quite some time, Rob, that we need a top echelon playmaker in this offense because we are going to have the money. We've got a quarterback on rookie money, and I've always equated that to a wide receiver as we need to go get a big playmaking wide receiver like a George Pickens. But you know what? The more and more this churns, the more and more I think, you know what? Never mind. We need to go get the big play running back that is always going to be there. RJ Harvey's a third-round draft pick for a reason. I love him. He is so good at what he does best. And his skill set is extremely versatile at a probably 3-4 things. But in between the tackles and an every down back, he's not. And the quicker we come to that, assumption, and the quicker we come to that conclusion, the quicker that we can move on and find a running back that we can lean on during these times.
You think Denver makes a call to the Jets for Breece Hall?
That's absolutely a name. That is 100% a name out there for sure, to be looked upon, to have a call check. Achane from Miami, McDaniels' offense is gone. Their complete change of head is done in Miami. Achane could be available. I want to look at him. I want to look at all available running backs in the offseason that could make a monumental change to this offense. And that is not, again, I want to preference, that is not a indicative statement on Harvey, because I love Harvey. Harvey is amazing at what he does, but Harvey is limited. That's why he wasn't a first-round draft pick. That would have made all the difference, to me at least today, is a running back room that we trusted to put the ball on the ground and just churn. Because our offensive line's fine. We have no problems on the offensive line. So I'm gonna delete that possibility of like somehow creatively recreating the offensive line, because how can you recreate one of the top 5 offensive lines in the NFL as it stands now?
What about
There's only
Travis
so many
Etienne
things you
Jr.?
can, yeah, there's only so many things you can redo. So it's disappointing, man. It's disappointing to say the least.
So you don't think Denver will bring back J.K. Dobbins and give him another 1-year contract?
No, I don't think so. I personally wouldn't be opposed to it, but the writing's on the wall, man. Like, if Dobbins was 100% in this game and we truly had the Dobbins-Harvey backfield that we anticipated going into the year, this game would have looked a lot different in the snow.
I think so too.
We talked about the 2015 team, right? C.J. Anderson, Ronnie Hillman. We didn't have C.J. Anderson today. We only had Ronnie Hillman. And we actually saw back in the day when Anderson was hurt that, like, ooh, we cannot survive off of just Ronnie Hillman. R.I.P. Like, that's a great running back. I love the pop. I love the sizzle. But, like, that's not an everyday thing we can count on. And today just solidified that we cannot count on Harvey to, like, be the end-all, be-all in that room. Not in this kind of game.
And M.M6670 comes in, says Sean's play call stunk. It had more to do with that than the weather. Stiddy made a couple bonehead moves to be expected from a backup who hasn't thrown a ball since preseason.
Yeah.
The one did Stiddy throw one interception or 2?
One.
No, he only threw 1. So that one interception, yes, it was a costly interception at a impromptu time. The other one that, and this is the weird thing. So the other one that got called as an interception then got changed to it wasn't an interception and it was a fumble. I think, in my opinion, when I was looking at it, to me, it was an incomplete pass because he didn't hang on to the ball hit the ground. So it should have been an incomplete pass, in my opinion. But, again, it's playoff football's different, man. Like, it just brings another level of pressure that not a lot of people are used to and a lot of people can handle, both players and coaching staff. But like I said, man, I'm hopeful that Denver's going to make some moves in the offseason. And I think, Sean Payton will look at this and hopefully learn from it. But it's a disappointing loss, and it's going to hurt all offseason. But like I said, I think Denver's future is bright with Bo Nix and the pieces that we have. Do you want to give out any game balls today?
Yeah, I think this is the last game of the year, Rob, until like football matters. Next September, man. If we really put it into perspective, this is the coup de grace, man. This is it.
Well,
this is it until September.
Let's get into who's got the balls. All right. I don't even know. I'm gonna let you go first, Jay, because I don't even know. I don't even know, bro.
No, man. I've got a real game ball, but I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start with my, honorary game ball. The game ball that was gonna go out to this player no matter what happened in this game, and it's Jarrett Stidham, man. Stiddy deserves a game ball in this game. The amount of pressure that was on this man's shoulders coming into this game cannot be measured. We had a social media movement that was unprecedented. Broncos country rallied around this man like no other leading up to this game. X was on fire with profile pictures, with hashtags, with all the above for this man to succeed today. And for us to come to bat with the game plan that we did, I didn't disagree with what was going on for, I'd say, a quarter and a half of this game. I thought Sean Payton handled it very well. But for a half and a quarter, or half and a half a quarter, I was so disappointed in the confidence level that we had in Jarrett Stidham going against not the Patriots defense, mind you, but apparently the blizzard, the weather that was, because Sean Payton absolutely fell into a shell of himself in the second half. And it is absolutely sickening to me to be able to sit back post-game and think about this game as we didn't give our social media star a chance to win this game in the second half. Jarrett Stidham never got to have the opportunity to throw a 50-50 ball to Sutton. Never got the opportunity to throw a crosser to Ingram for a good 30-yard gain. We didn't get to throw the heater like, we have seen in past performances to Marvin Mims, like the Bengals game. That's just a heave-ho, and you know what, man? I trust you. I trust you ball to Mims, saying your athleticism and speed is going to beat your competition, and you're just going to be there. I don't care about the weather.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Payton fell into himself in the second half and didn't give Stiddy City and didn't give the Stiddy party a chance to flourish, to blossom, to show us stuff. We fell into the notion of line of scrimmage, running the ball in between the tackles and seeing what we can do for a whole half of football on line of scrimmage like that. And we weren't going to win that battle, Harvey has shown that he cannot run in between the tackles. His average for the game, brace yourself, Rob, 2.9 a carry. 2.9 or 2.8. 2.8 a carry for RJ Harvey. That is embarrassing.
He had the same average as Stevenson for the Patriots.
Yeah, but
Stevenson had 25 carries.
Yards.
Yeah, well, and he had 25 carries.
Correct.
RJ Harvey had 13.
71 yards for Stevenson. And I trusted Stidham to come up when the, moment was highest. And I just feel as if we cowarded in the moment and we didn't allow our hero, our cowboy, our guy that we boasted up all week in our hashtags to come in clutch. We didn't give him a chance, man. And I'd rather go down with Stidham throwing an interception or throwing some sort of, crazy overreach pass than I am Harvey in between the tackles for another gain of 2 yards. If you're going to go down swinging, man. And the creativity of Sean Payton is what let us down in this game, in my estimation. So I'm disappointed in Sean Payton more than anyone.
Well, if I had to give a game ball to anybody, I'm going to give it to Marvin Mims, because honestly, he was the only one that produced much of anything today.
Yeah.
He had 4 receptions for 62 yards, averaged 15.5. And most of that is that long pass that he had down the field, for 52 yards. Cortland Sutton had 3 receptions for 17 yards. That was it. Evan Ingram had more reception yards than Cortland Sutton. Two receptions for 19 yards.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree with you wholeheartedly that the play calling and the weather were definitely the biggest factors. But, then again, had Will Lutz made those 2 field goals, we wouldn't be talking about any of this. He hooked one right and he hooked one left. And that one that he missed left, I literally said, I'm like, push it just a little left. And he pushed it way too left.
Yeah. Aside from the second quarter decision to go for it on 4th down, as opposed to just kicking the damn field goal and taking the points, when we knew coming into this game it was going to be a game of inches, in my opinion. And that was a huge mistake on Sean Payton's part in and itself, to not just take your points and be humble for a hot sec. But, that ain't in the Sean Payton cards.
Shai Vargas coming in saying Bo Nix will come back stronger. Yes, he will. Michael coming in with the blue and orange hearts. Appreciate it. And M&M coming in saying, I wish Sean was on the hot seat. He thinks his junk is bigger than everyone else's.
He's got some big cojones. There is no possible way you could ever justify putting Sean Payton on a hot seat right now. The man is why we're in the conference championship. I mean, that's the thing. It's like you roll with the punches when it comes to him. And that's what sucks, is the second half sucked. Big balls, Broncos country. But the first half wasn't too shabby. Like, you kind of played right into the game plan that you should have with a backup quarterback. We did very well. I was pretty happy. You say, should we even do game bowls? And that's because there weren't a whole lot of fireworks in a 10-7 game, obviously. Like, boring. This was kind of a yawn fest of a game. Game ball I'll give out here. Alex Singleton.
I got medlocked.
12 total tackles, 4 for solo. You called it as that was going to be the game changer. That was going to be your, unsung hero of the game. Dude, for the man, just in an overall arc here sense, coming off of the terrible knee injury that he had last year, just to be competent this year.
And then testicular cancer surgery.
Aside from cancer coming into cancer is the icing on the cake for him this year. That's the thing. It's like, that would be a monumental storyline for any player, obviously. But for him to come off of the knee injury he was last year and to be questionable as the green dot of this defense coming into the year, and to hit the adversity that he had, dude, I don't know how you cannot tip your cap to that man. What an incredible human, what an incredible leader, what an incredible player. Even if he's not starter, give him an offer sheet. He needs to be on this team next year. I'm not an Alex Singleton fan. Kodiak Broncos out there on the YouTube, go find him. He is a absolute fire follow. Kodiak Broncos. I'll repeat it here. But he's the biggest, Alex Singleton, detractor. He hates him. But even him, he gave him his flowers, and he deserves something. Because Alex Singleton is a man among boys, and he deserves his flowers for this year, for the adversity that he stuck it out with this year. So kudos to Alex Singleton, man. No matter what happens, no matter any outcome this year, Alex Singleton is a dog, man. Capital D.
Well, I agree with you wholeheartedly, and that's who I was going to give my game ball to on the defense, but you medlocked me. So before I get into my defense, Eminem coming in here again saying, to be fair to Sean, I've never liked him, so I'm sure I'm biased. But then she also comes in here giving us love, Jay, saying enjoying the chat. This is the first I've heard you guys, and I dig it. And on that note, Eminem, if you're not already, head on over to YouTube, X, Facebook. Give us a like, share, and subscribe, especially on the old YouTube. If you do, make sure that your YouTube profile is set to public. because we are going to be doing another giveaway at 750 subscribers, and we are holding strong at 659. So, with that being said, I will now. Oh, Jay's putting on the hater shades.
Oh yeah, reflect it.
My game ball, I'm gonna actually give to DJ Jones, because that guy, he had 6 total tackles, 2 solo, a sack and a half, and 2 tackle for losses and 2 QB hits.
Not wrong with that. Not wrong with that.
I'm very surprised that we didn't see more out of Nick Benito today. Nick Benito did almost have a strip sack in the first quarter. But I don't see him on the stat sheet at all.
No, pretty ghost.
Which is kind of surprising.
On the box score.
Even Dre Greenlaw had 6 total tackles. Greenlaw coming up big today as well. But DJ Jones has been a key piece in the middle of our defensive line. He came fired up to play today, and he showed that. Our defense as a whole, if I could give the whole defense a game ball, 5 sacks on Drake May. I've been doing that all freaking day. That's
hate the Drake. Hate the Drake.
And you know what? If New England winds up playing Seattle's going to slap the shit out of them.
Oh,
100%.
I cannot wait.
I hate Seattle because of what they did to us in the Super Bowl the first go around that Peyton Manning made it. But if the Seahawks make it to the Super Bowl, I'll be pulling for them. And I hope
Old McDonald had a Super Bowl.
I hope they slap the shit out of Drake May. Yeah. I hope they dog walk them.
Yep. Dude, samesies. Honestly, either way, obviously all of Broncos country should be pro NFC team now. Like either Rams, go Cronkies, or Seattle, just kick the shit out of New England. I don't want to hear about any of your apples, how many you have. I don't want to hear about your clam chowders. I don't want to hear about your smart parks. Whatever all y'all's have. Like, no thanks. Moving on.
I definitely don't want to hear the second coming of the evil empire.
No, thank you.
I'm good. I'm good with that. But
no.
Jay, well, I appreciate you hopping on with me, man. And it's a tough one. It's gonna sting for a while. You have any closing final thoughts before we get out of here?
Dude, this has been a phenomenal season, man. We talked about this pregame of like, no matter what the result of this game is, this season is a success. We are ahead of schedule. We've got a second-year quarterback, just like Drake May, but like a second-year quarterback that has a supporting cast that I am fully behind, man. Like, we have one of the youngest teams in the league. We had a crazy year that we had a monumental amount of small margin victories and small margin losses, mind you. So there's going to be a lot of optimism going into next season. We're going to finally get the Russell Wilson bullshit money off of our books that has hampered us in a, transaction roster building sense for quite some time. So that's going to be a whole opening up thing. And, we've shown the NFL that we're players, man. We're ready to go. We are on the precipice of winning a chip. So free agents, come get a discount to come win a chip with a quarterback that you can believe in Bo Nix, man. So we shouldn't be more excited about an offseason than we are the next offseason, because not only do we have the expectations going into next season, but we got money. We got doll hairs that we're going to be throwing at some people. So the sky's the limit. 5280 is the floor, y'all. Let's go. We're going higher.
Eminem coming saying, "Oh, I'm subscribed. I have hope for my Broncos. The future is looking bright. Cheers."
You might as well. It'd be rude not to.
My closing thoughts. My closing thoughts are: I hate the snow. I hate the weather.
Yeah.
And I hate Sean Payton's play calling in the most impromptu time for him to be conservative, and
yeah,
it just came at the worst possible time. Had the weather not turned, I think Jared Stidham would have lit them up.
We would have had a chance for sure.
And like I said, had the weather not turned, Will Lutz makes those field goals, no problem. Maybe one of them not so much because of how bad he hooked it right, but you know, I mean, it is what it is. The future in Denver looks bright. You know, and I mean, again, the last 9 years, you know, we go into the offseason like, oh, here we go. But looking ahead, again, Denver's going to have cap money. They're going to have continuity, and hopefully, you know, we keep the staff that we have. And if VJ goes, great, next man up. If Davis Webb goes, great, next man up. But with that being said, I digress. Jay, I want to thank you for hopping on with me. I want to thank the rest of my Orange and Blue Crew brothers for everything this season. And I want to thank everybody that tunes into our shows, shares our posts, you know, comes into the chats. It's been a really good season for me personally. Being able to do this with you guys and be there week in and week out. I appreciate each and every one of you guys as a whole. And as the Orange and Blue Crew, I love each and every one of you guys. I'm not afraid to admit that. But on behalf of the Orange and Blue Crew, I am Bronco Rob and my main man, Jay, the Dreamweaver. And I want to give you guys a mile-high salute as we get out of here. Again, go Broncos, and we'll see you in the offseason. Let's go Broncos.
Yeah.